or actually what's left of it. I've owned this dozer for about 3 or 4 years, and honestly, I've had nothing but problems with it. The whole time I've had it, it's been tore apart pretty much to this point more than I've ran it. I've contemplated even making videos on this, but there's probably some useful information in here for somebody. The main problem I've had with this bulldozer is I lose hydraulic pressure in the transmission and it takes the clutch packs out. It has a power shift, which is extremely nice when it works, but for the most part it doesn't work. This last time that the clutch packs went out, we found something different than we ever have when we tore into it, and I'm hoping that that's why I was having problems all along. I never could get very good transmission pressure to hold the clutches tight, clutch packs tight. So I'll show you what I found and kind of show you what I'm planning on doing here. This is my transmission clutch pump is what it's called. This is the one that came out of the machine. These pieces go down inside there. It's just a gear pump. Pretty self-explanatory, squeezes the fluid, comes out high pressure. But this time when we took it apart, it ate this pump up really bad. It spun this whole thing in there, and it's got a hell of a groove right here. So this is pretty obvious that it was not pumping like it's supposed to. I actually sourced a new pump and these gears. And if I remember right, this whole deal was $3,000 from John Deere. Couldn't find any aftermarket ones. I found a used pump down in Texas. I had it shipped up. It looks like it's in very good shape. We put that one in, rebuilt all brand new clutch packs. I had a friend of mine do that. He helped me get the top of the transmission and that back together. And now it's time for me to put the engine back in. And I'll give you a closer look here. Clutch packs are down inside of here, and it's a real bear to get them in and out. There's barely enough room. It's heavy, not fun. Clutch pumps right up here. You can actually see it right there. This would have been all the further I would have needed to go if I hadn't kept running it and burned the clutch packs out of it. Did a new seal on that, and the reason the top of the ROPS control station are all off is I was looking for a hydraulic leak. There's 2 hoses, one in this side and one in this side, that goes to the actual final drive brake, I believe, final drive clutch maybe. Hydraulic hose, real short little guy inside here. I ended up replacing both of mine, and they looked very bad, but they were not leaking. I'd done that before I pulled the engine out and came in from this direction. So anyways, this thing has just been a nightmare. Here's my engine assembly. One kind of cool part about John Deere is how they did this. You know, radiator, coolant system, everything stays hooked up. Don't have to drain any of that. There's another hydraulic pump right there. That's for my dozer blade, the winch on the back. Things I need to do before I can stab this engine is there's 2 cooler lines here, and I believe it's that one for the hydraulic cooler. to the transmission. I need to spin this fitting in to there, get it lined up, and there's 2 hose ends. You can see one of them there. Oh, there's the other one there. I need to get them hooked up, hose clamped onto these, kind of get them pulled off to the side, and then I guess get the mini hoe inside here so I can pluck this engine up, swing it over, stick it in there. Once I get the engine in there, I need to probably put the control station together after that. I don't need the hard nose on here yet for testing, so it's gonna stay off for a minute, but I will put the tanks and the seat back on and not the ROPS yet. On a side note, I need to put a new starter on this engine. This is actually the one off of the backhoe in prior videos. Same starter, so I ended up robbing the one off of here for the backhoe and ended up having to put a new one on it later. But got a new starter in. You do not want to put this starter on this engine when it's in the machine. It is terrible. This lower bolt here is very hard to get to. This bell housing bolt is actually very hard to get to with the starter in there, but it's the lesser of 2 evils. So put the starter back on, get these lines hooked up, get ready to swing this engine into place. And then I got a few days here, so I'm hoping that I can have this machine back together in operation in less than a week's time. So let's get after it. All right, starter's installed. I guess I need to put the vent tube back over here. Goes down through that guide, pops into the valve cover. It's all in place. It's ready to go. I did these 90s. It's engine coolant that heats the filter, oil filter there. Got a new filter coming. Put a dent in that one. Other thing, I guess, is I got that fitting spun in. Hose clamps here and there. All that's looking pretty good. So I think I'm ready to get the mini hoe in here and get ready to stab this thing. Gotta move my heater out of the way and get positioned. That looks like a pretty good spot to be in. Get a hold of that thing, get it over here. Get me a chain on there. Get ready to swing it into place. Gonna do a couple test lifts and see how it picks. May have to do some repositioning. Took a little screwing around, but we got her in there. My father-in-law showed up and had to back the mini hoe up a little bit. It's kind of a heavy engine, but got her all put in there. There's bell housing bolt there, there. One right there, and one down in there below the starter. Those are all tight. I need to get this hose hooked up to the bottom of that oil cooler. And pump lines, cooler lines. Got a party to go to tonight, so cleaned up, shut up the shop here. I'm going to get back on this tomorrow, try to get everything set on here, get the dash set on there. Then it's just a matter of dumping fluids in. I'm gonna have to reset that clutch pump. That's an adjustment through the bell housing. You adjust that nut right there, and there's a hole here. Hook a gauge in right there. I did come up with a transmission oil temp gauge. So I need to get it hooked in down there. Gotta top this guy off with fluid. Probably put the plug back in the bottom. I don't remember if it's still out or not. But chipping away at the old girl, so back on it in the morning. All right, new day. I got that hose attached. All of these. New filter on here. It's a 1243 Napa Gold. New oil filter because it caved in the side of the old one, taking the engine out. Also a 1243 by Napa. I've got my roll pins in both sides here and here. I'm ready to put my dash assembly on. I've just got done putting a new tack cable on here before I put this up in there. It's hard to get to in place. This whole piece here is kind of heavy actually. If I just needed to pick it up and set it on here, I could probably do it, but getting it up in the middle of that mess is not easy. So I'm gonna pull the mini hoe over here, pick it up, swing it into place. Let's see, what else do I have to do? I guess once I get that into place, I'm gonna put that new transmission temp gauge in. You can see the needles laying in the bottom of this guy. So get that put in there. I've got my tank assembly, operator station picked up here. I need to set it down and then grab it from the top side and move the ROPS out of the way. Then hopefully I can drive the forklift right in here and just set it in place. So I guess we'll get the mini hoe pulled over and we'll swing it up here into place. All right, it's sitting fairly close to where it's supposed to go. Can waller it around the rest of the way by hand. Get some of this stuff hooked up, turbo boot, wiring, throttle cable, tachometer cable, temperature probe needs to go in there. I still need to check the plug in the bottom of the transmission. I'll dump oil in there before I put this stuff on because it's kind of a pain to get to that. That's actually under the seat. What do I got on this side? Just oil pressure gauge line. Not very much. It's all coming together pretty good. Bring you back when I get some of this stuff hooked up. All right, this is where we're at. Got the kill wire hooked up to the injection pump, throttle linkage hooked up, turbos hooked up, all the wiring's done. This loose wire is gonna go to a transmission temp gauge. I'm gonna get the seat in place for that so I can sit in the seat while I take the dash apart. Plugs in the bottom of the transmission. I put about 7 gallons in there. Book says it holds a total of 8. On this side, Oil pressure's hooked up, wires are plugged in. I still need to run fuel lines, but I can put them in after the tank is on there. You can see down in there is my transmission temp sender. Wires run up here. They're kind of loose for now because they'll have to go under the floor pan. This other wire goes to a light on the back of the machine, so that'll get run up under the seat once it's all set on there. I got this picked up where I think I can get it set, so that's my plan now. This hose here needs to run up through underneath the seat into the hydraulics on this side. So I think we're ready to set this back on there. See if I can get her lined up. Let you get a closer look. There's two studs that stick up. One's right there, and one's over there and there. Got them lined up so I know it's in the right spot. This is gonna sit down right on there. But the problem I have, looks like these lines were supposed to go down underneath this L bracket. So that's why it's not sitting down flat. It's probably gonna be easier to just take that bracket loose, fold it forward quick, than trying to pick this back up and get it leaned forward. So that's what I'm gonna do, and get it set down on there, and I can start hooking everything up. Well, this seems like a good stopping point for tonight. I got both these lines, suction and pressure line for the Dozer, hooked up underneath. They're real bare, hard to get to, and you gotta bend them around. I've got all these lines put back on. You might be asking me, Morgan, how do you know where all those go? Well, the truth of that whole matter is I don't. I put zippy ties on all these, and then I just had to match them up. So that's an easy way to remember that. Otherwise, there's no possible way I would have remembered. I took pictures of it too, just in case. On the other side here, I was working on getting some more wiring ran. This is to the neutral safety switch. I broke it down there, so I need to get a new one of those ordered. I've got to put my 12-volt master kill back in. That's a pain. No room to work down in here. I got one linkage hanging in there just so I can make sure I know where it goes. Other one's laying right here. It's probably gonna have to come out, so I put the 12-volt kill switch in. I'm going to put a battery charger on these for tonight, so those will be ready to go tomorrow when I need them. I've still got to bolt this whole deal down. That's pretty easy, but good stopping point for the day. I don't know, maybe it doesn't look like much, but I feel like I'm gaining and starting to look like a bulldozer again. It's been a long road. Side note, has anybody noticed how modern day battery chargers completely suck? They have to have like a minimum of 12 volts so that they will start charging a battery. What the hell's up with that? I bought this gem off of eBay. Looks like it's almost brand new. Pretty sweet. It's got even have a 50 amp engine start setting, but brag this old thing up. Probably burn my shop down tonight. Pretty cool battery charger. Way heavy cables on it. I like that a lot. See you guys tomorrow.